What's going on, y'all? Brett here, and I'm back today playing some more Battle Brothers on the Warriors of the North DLC. Alright, so some of you guys gave me your opinions on what to do after yesterday's episode. I took them to heart, and luckily for me, they were also in line with what I wanted to do as well. And I just went ahead in my free time yesterday. I took on the Witch's Hut fight again, and so this is how it went. I was like kind of paying attention, kind of not. I loaded it up. I look back, the battle progresses because they have initiative, and the witches had managed to hex like 4 of my brothers on the opening turn, and I was just like, no. Because the RNG on that is unbelievable. I restarted it, and on the next restart, they didn't hex any. They weren't able to do any on the opening turn, and I was like, this is the one. And I just took that fight, and they managed to hex us throughout the battle, but like it went almost identically to our successful battle on yesterday's video, and the only negative thing that happened was that there was one unhold that we couldn't tie down, and he was able to absolutely bully Zach. He got into the back line, threw people around, and then he would not leave Zach alone. There was nothing I could do to get him off, and he was at like 10 HP or something like that, at one point 20 HP with almost no armor, and he was wearing this armor here, I believe the Night Cloak. And the Unhold just bullied his way into the back. He was on the high ground, and I had one chance to get away. And I said, you know what, it's a gamble, but if I can jump one distance away from this Unhold, our victory is all but assured, with no losses. I tried to jump away, and he brought me down to 1 HP. He gave me, I think, the fractured ribs. It was awful. And then the next couple turns, of course he was at full health because he's an Unhold. The next couple turns, I basically spent applying 5 overwhelm to him every turn, and he whiffed on like 6 attacks, which ultimately let Zach live. But that was kind of an anomaly, right? I mean, Unhold, first off, don't normally target that aggressively, but he just bullied him and bullied him. He pushed him, block after block farther back until there was just nothing I can do. Without footwork on my archers, I just wasn't able to get away from him. While the rest of my team, meanwhile, carved a path. So I took also, someone gave me a really good suggestion, and I don't know why I didn't think of this myself when I was originally building our strategy. They said Isaac, because he's wearing the necklace, he can just use his normal cleaver, right? And that added a lot of DPS to my fight. It ended up not being crazy relevant. I mean, he was able to chop down some level 2 Nexurhers pretty efficiently, but ultimately, you also lose a little bit of efficiency because if someone next to him is hexed, I wasn't able to stun anyone without switching because of course I used his weapon, but then I still had a bludgeon in his inventory, which ultimately was only -4 fatigue. But the fight went great. I mean, every other brother basically ended the fight at full health and nearly full armor. The Hex tried to hex us towards the end of the battle to the point where we almost couldn't hit them. We just had to tie them down and wait. But it was a tough fight, and it was a fun one. Cata lives, guys. Cata will not forsake thee. So honestly, it took me longer to reorganize our gear and put everything back where it needed to be than it did for me to actually do the fight. Just for now, I have the Obsidian Dagger on Svarog. He was already holding a dagger, so I figured if he's going to hold one, he might as well hold a good one. I think for the most part I have everyone's gear back to where it was before. If not very close, or even perhaps a bit more optimally placed. Just do a quick check with me. I'm sure you guys at this point, if you've watched every episode, you probably know their builds as well as I do. Hans. I realized he does not have any kind of secondary specialty. I think I was using the cleaver on him simply because, I don't know. I don't remember why I was using whatever weapon I was using on him. But I have this magnificent mallet here, and I think it's pretty cool to switch him into like a two-hander, like mid-fight. Of course he loses his shield, and then he's kind of carrying a heavy shield for nothing. But once this goes into the inventory, it cuts its fatigue loss in half. I don't know. I just thought this was a cool way to use at least one of these weapons. The Mijar Gustav's Crusher or the Magnificent Mallet. The Mallet being the one that does by far the most damage. It also has one less fatigue. Let me see, make sure he doesn't... He actually does have Headhunter. This has a plus 31% chance to hit someone in the head. Yeah, I just sold myself on this weapon. Headhunter plus the chance to hit head plus I think... Okay, I can't do that right now. But the attack here I think goes around shields and stuff and probably hits people in the head, prioritizes that. So pretty sweet altogether. Everyone's armor is back on. It took forever. But now I think we're good to go. We stopped by Finsterwald, which has this contract for us. Kill marauding greenskins. We have to go all the way south to do that. I actually want to head north today. I want to go a little bit west to Dornan and Brookwald and all those great cities that have armors and weaponsmiths. I want to visit those places, see what kind of maybe quick quests they have. But ultimately I want to head north. I want to get into the wilds. I want to find greenskins. Not greenskins, I'm sorry. I want to find Unhold. I want to find Unhold that we can get their hides. Oh my god, I can finally make a trophy necklace. We can get their hides and use that to get into the stone pillar and trade that to the witches. So, check it out. We've got some different new crafting ingredients. So let's go ahead and look at them real quick before we jump in and spin them. We had never before seen, I don't believe in this playthrough, mysterious herbs. These herbs do not look or smell like any known to you. Their scent is intriguing and appalling at the same time. So we picked up 2 of those. Let's see, what else did we get? I think we of course got another apple and another witch hair. So we have 2 witches' hairs, 3 apples, and 2 herbs. So I think that's enough to make 3 of the witches' necklaces, which are great. I think we're gonna make 2 of those. Did I say 3? I meant to say 2. We're gonna make 2 of those. And I think that's some of the more useful stuff, but it's also worth noticing that we now have access to the Apothecary's Miracle, a powerful remedy against many common illnesses and diseases to reduce inflammation and to support the body's natural healing. Characters treated with this drug will recover faster from injuries, just like if they had been treated at a temple. It's basically a mobile temple. I don't hate it, but we don't need it, right? It's one of those things, once again, I feel like if I'm going to use an Unhold's Heart and a mysterious herb to make this, it should come in like a pack of 3 or something, like a bottle of aspirin. And at that point, I would consider keeping one of these in my inventory at all times, just to have in case I'm out in the wilderness and I get some serious injuries, like the ones that are currently on Zach. I would consider wanting to get rid of them. But as it stands right now, I don't need to. The Hexen Trophy, we can read the description for this. This necklace is fashioned from trophies taken of slain Hexen, declares the one wearing it a veteran of battle against vile sorcery, and not easily daunted. So I think you need some of the Hexen's parts to make the runes that you can attach to armor, but I could be wrong. I know you need the Alps parts to do it, but I think we need some of the Hexen's ones too. But anyway, guys, we're going to pull the trigger on this. I also see we have access to now the second wind potion. A fatigued fighter is a dead fighter. This concoction of various stimulants promises to help one catch their wind. So I think this is basically like recover in a potion form. Once again, as a one-off, with these expensive components plus the crafting cost, it's not worth it. Unless every brother had quick hands and bags and belts, I just don't ever see the real usefulness of these potions as one-offs. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and craft the Hexen Trophy Necklace. And we're going to craft 2 of them. We were a little bit low on necklaces going into that battle. Let's organize a bit here. That's going to clear out some space in our inventory, which is nice. But we have some brothers, more so than others. So let's see here, Svarog. Yeah, Svarog's going to hold one of these. So this is +6 resolve as opposed to the +4. The Alp Trophy Necklace and the Hexen Trophy Necklace, I believe they're both +6. Whereas the Nexurher is +4. So on our brothers that are like, we really need to have good resolve on, like Svarog as a lone wolf, we're going to make sure that he has the best resolve we possibly can give him at 63. Which, you know, is a lot. It's not a small amount of resolve. And kind of the same thing here. I don't think we need to be wearing the Undead Trophy necessarily, unless we are actively going into a battle against the Hexen, which we of course are not. And then here, John D. Grants immunity being rooted. We don't need that. Let's go ahead and give him that necklace there. Because at some point he is himself probably going to be a lone wolf. And it's going to be important for him not to break. He'll probably have underdog as well. I'm not 100% sure exactly what we're giving him quite yet for his final 2 perks. But if he ever is in a situation where he's surrounded and footwork can't get him out, the last thing we want is for him to break because he's only got 50 resolve. And now we have the Goblin Trophy and the Undead Trophy in our inventory. We need to make sure not to sell those for sure. And yeah, so sorry guys, this is a lot of talking, but after boss battles, you got to do a bit of a reset. And get back to basics. So we're going to head down to Strasbourg. They're a pretty good city. Their prices might be fair to sell some of the things that we're currently holding on to. Finally, man, I don't remember your name in the comment section, but someone asked me why I was holding on to so many of those bludgeons before the boss battle. And I kind of laughed, and it probably does. If you weren't aware of what we were doing and what we were preparing for, it probably looked a heck of a lot like I was just hoarding cheap junk to sell. But check it out. We can finally get rid of it. The prices here aren't great, but check this out. Look. Your OCD. Ooh, I'll actually hold these. I don't want to sell the rest of those. They're expensive. We'll sell them at a slightly better place. But your OCD is satisfied, my friend. We could sell off some of the other stuff. It's not a big deal. Let's just clear up the inventory a little bit, declutter. And sure. The prices here are great for things. Let's pick up 2 stacks of tools. That's 100 ammo. That's about all we can get, even though the ammo is really cheap here. I like that. They have really good like mid-game items for sale. Pole hammers, long swords. Would have been a pretty sweet place to stumble across at some point in the game. And you know what? We don't have to go to Dornan. Let me see real quick. Let me check what's in the armory. Nothing we need. Let's check what's in the weaponsmith. Nothing we need. So my idea was basically just to make the circuit here to all of the cities that have the best stuff in them. Basically to come up here, Grolfest, and walk around this back path to eventually get to here. Now that could take 2 episodes. I don't know if I want to spend 2 episodes doing that, however, when I know that we could just launch ourselves from here and walk straight up, back to Finsterwald, up to Grafenheid, Elkshorn, ultimately probably using Raderstad as our base of operations. They like us, we're friendly towards them and towards us, and we could use them as a base to take out some of these northern holdings, which I think some of them do have armored unholds in there that we could kill and probably get their hides. And that's almost guaranteed crafting ingredients that we need. Whereas we could just go out into the wild and hope to stumble across unhold, which is kind of not really a plan. It's just a thing to do. And it's not like I have 100,000 crowns and I really need to visit the other places to see what kind of goods they can give me. So because of that, you know what, I think we'll take this Goblin Raiders fight as well. They're just a free fight on the way to where we're going. And that's going to equal several hundred crowns. Let me just make sure our team is good. I've got John Wolfrider and John D substituting for people who are injured. Also worth noting that the 2 times I was able to do the Witch's Hut fight, I did use shields. I know in my first attempt I kind of debated the usefulness of shields, and it did make it incredibly difficult for me to stun my own brothers. I noticed I was not hitting them a lot. However, I did put in my brothers with the highest melee skill, so it felt like it was pretty 50-50 on whether or not we were able to stun our brothers, which ultimately are not that bad of odds when everyone's using a bludgeon. In the most recent successful battle, I want to say ultimately we were hexed maybe 5 or 6 times. Man, we are whiffing hard. Let's get up here and kill that guy. Step in. Step in. Very good. Awesome. Gotta love the impalers. Nice. And if you're not scared of the archers, the goblin archers counter skirmishing you, best thing you can do is just jump in on them. That was kind of a crappy miss. If we had hit that guy, we almost certainly would have killed him. Archer certainly will not be able to move. Let's use Adrenaline there. I probably should have used it on Svarog as well. We would have been able to jump in on him, probably kill him. But this is just a way for us to make some free crowns. Our daily wages are so high that we really can't afford to just walk by goblins. Them shooting at Behemoth kind of sucks. The next great suit of armor we get probably goes on him. Yeah, I saw that coming. Let's just go for an aim shot. It'll probably kill him. Nope. Alright, back to basics. Awesome job, Cata. See, this is why we kept you alive, my friend. There we go. Let's get behind them. Never mind. Gimli said there's no need. I got this. Wow, we hit our own. Come on, man. Let's get in there for a potential line shot. If we get up here, can we still shoot? No. So let's get as far as we can. And now we're just trying to tie down as many of them as we can. Archers can't move. Alright, let's go, let's go. So some of them will be able to run away. There's 3 here that aren't tied down. If they decide to stand and fight, we're cool with that too. Perfect. Step here. It was a long shot either way. So something cool I wanted to share with you guys. The first wave of computer components has come in for me for my new, what I'm calling like a supercomputer, because it's going to be the best computer I've ever owned. The superiority of my laptop was short-lived. But the first components came in. My monitor came in, my keyboard, my hard drive, my SSD, one of the newer like Evo SSDs, which I didn't even know was a thing until my buddy like explained to me how they're better. I was like, okay, cool. I'll take better. And what else came in? A couple other minor things. Oh yeah, my motherboard came in. That was good. But I still plan on trying to make some sort of video. It might even be some sort of like a, I don't know, like a vlog style, I guess. You'd definitely be able to see my face. I would say hi. Probably have to take it on my phone as well. I don't know if you guys are interested in that sort of thing, but it would just be me showing you the components. If you'd like, I can do that. And talking about them. Probably me doing a little bit more research even. That way I can give you guys some good information if you're curious as to why I bought one thing over the other. A lot of the good information that I got was from a buddy of mine who's way more knowledgeable in the world of computers than I will ever be, and whose judgment I actually trust. So try to take some of the knowledge and wisdom he passed on to me and pass it on to you. But if you're not interested in listening to a scrub tell you about computer parts, then by all means pass that video. I just thought it'd be something fun to do together. And in the future, whenever I'm playing games that are really graphically intensive, which I plan on doing as soon as I put it together, Total War Warhammer 2 is going to get smashed by me. You guys won't have to ask like what type of rig I'm running, because you will already know. Let's go ahead and use Adrenaline. I think we can catch him. But I can't wait. There's so much content that I've been wanting to make that I just can't because of the limitations of my laptop. And I'm very excited to finally be able to do some of it. Okay, he's gone. Namely, the biggest thing... Ooh, this is lucrative. This is... Man, what is this? Something like 1,200 to 1,500 crowns. We're going to get back like all of our arrows. Nice. But the biggest thing, like I think I've mentioned this before, whenever I started my YouTube channel, I wanted to make 2 videos for sure. I wanted to do Battle Brothers series, which I'm happily able to do because Battle Brothers is a pretty low, not very demanding game graphically, which is one of the best things it has going for it for sure. Almost any, it's available to anyone. You know, there's no barrier to entry on Battle Brothers. The other game was Total War Warhammer 1 and 2. And I wanted to do campaigns. I love multiplayer. I think I'm pretty good at multiplayer. But that's not where my heart is for sure. I want to do campaigns, and I just couldn't. My computer just cannot handle recording it while playing it on anything higher than like low to medium settings and be steady. And I just don't think that's good enough to compete with all the people out there who are currently making those types of videos. Lionheart is a great guy. He does awesome videos. And that's something of the style that I want to do. Hour-long, probably even longer episodes than he does. And go really in depth into like my thought process, tactical stuff, long-term strategies and things like that. Because I do know the opening strats for a lot of the races and stuff. And I think that would be interesting to do. And there's a lot more FLC coming out. So the men go silent, one shrugs. Let's talk business. Let's see what they want us to do. I don't just want to walk by 3 skull contracts if they're perhaps, you know, what we want to do. So it's Raging Greenskins. That's cool. But it might just be... Let's just see where it is. Around Dornan. Yeah, that's exactly where we're headed. So we'll just go there. It'll require us to go there and come back. But we're going to Dornan anyway. And we want to sell things at Dornan. And we don't necessarily want them to have rampaging greenskins when we get there. The little farmstead didn't stand a chance. You find farmhands slain left and right. Pitchfork weaponry still grasped. One of the prongs has blood on it. Definitely not human. You follow the trail knowing that you'll soon be upon the perpetrators of this here crime. We must be close. I like to sell before I get into the fight. It's unfortunately nighttime, so we're going to have to wait a minute. Let's buy everybody a drink. We just kind of hang out until they attack. Should see them soon. There they are. A few berserkers. That's a pretty dangerous spread. But let's get into the town. Sometimes, let's see, supplies are beginning to run low. People become desperate. I think marauding greenskins actually gives us better sell prices. Check that out. 488. Jesus, I already know the bear hat's going to be out of control. 21. Yeah. Let's see, where were we at? That was a couple hundred. We were sub 20k. We were at like, what was it, like 19,800, something like that. So let's start at about 20k. That'll tell us where we are. We're not going to sell our rapier, of course. Would love to pick up a unique rapier. May hold on to one of these cleavers. I don't know if I need 2 great swords and 2 great axes. When we have great weapons in our inventory we're not even using. I definitely don't need 2 impalers sitting in my inventory. Get rid of these minted silver coins, the new goblin like item drop, which I think is awesome. They gave you more incentive to fight them, better chances at rewards. So it's looking like right now we're going to end up with about making about 5 to 6K, which is not bad at all. Get rid of a few extra things. I don't think we need the long axe either. And I think because the prices are so amazing here, we're just going to sell off the military cleaver. I have no doubt we'll pick up more such things as time goes on. And we could probably use some food. We don't have any ham. That puts us up to 8 days. We don't have any... Well, we're about to lose our fish. We're still at 8. 9. So the prices here for buying are not great, so we want to refrain from doing that if we don't have to. But there's no reason we can't check. Would love to find some unique bows one of these days. And something I wanted to do also real quick was to check everyone's tattoo game. So something I was thinking about, he's going to be the exception, Wonton Fu. And this is a bit of a story-driven element. Something I was thinking about, just kind of in my free time, was that it feels like everyone in our crew has become kind of an honorary barbarian and a member of our kind of tribe, you know. We are the Jarls of Jorvik. And I feel like most of these tattoos generally are... That looks pretty sick. Just trying to make sure I don't do too many duplicates. They're almost like a symbol of us coming together as Jarls. It's pretty sweet. And we can always undo this later if we want. But I feel like if you're going to join our crew, you've got to get a tattoo. I love that they added more. Wow, Skeeb. I don't know if you need to go that hard, homie. Alright, alright. Man, we got a lot of brothers who don't have tattoos. They're free to do, and you can always undo them if you don't want them. I love the blue ones. The kind of Celtic themed. That looks pretty sweet with his mutton chops. Did we miss one? The only one I was cool with not getting tattooed was Wonton Fu, just because he's like a monk. Ooh, somebody's hurt. Oh yeah, he's got the scars of a flagellant. That's kind of a unique thing. We don't want to get rid of that. And then Wonton is a monk. He came to us early on. He'll never be a barbarian, but he will always be our friend and teacher and our sergeant. So very cool. Just a bit of a flavorful addition here. Everyone's got to get matching tattoos. We're all part of the band now. So if we're going to be fighting orc warriors, just make sure we're all set. We've got lots of heavy weapons. We've got a couple crossbows. Our build is so good for dealing with them. Not completely optimal. I would love to have Fearsome on every brother if I was going to be fighting huge numbers of orcs. But because there's no real orc boss yet in the game, I'm comfortable with not focusing too heavily on that. Let's go for anyone not being protected by a shield. Damn. Good value. That kind of sucks. I can't step up there and use Indomitable. So our whole front line is just going to Indomitable. 75% even through the shield. The only one who's probably in trouble is John. Everyone else I think is good. Might be able to get this kill. 62% though, I don't love the odds. Okay, still hit him. Not a kill, but we hit him. We'll use Spear Wall there instead of Indomitable. We could always throw our shield up. But if they stun us, they're just going to knock the shield wall down anyway. But if they land next to us and don't stun us, we might be happy that they can't hit us. So, it's a bit of a mix. Yeah, like that. Wouldn't be surprised if someone else jumps in here to stun John. Come on, let's get that kill. Damn. Come on. There we go. Very good. I wanted to go for this one because we could have got a line shot with Behemoth. Unfortunately, we're a little bit too fast. Good damage. We'll stay with Indomitable. Spear wall back out. Yeah, they're taking their sweet time getting in here, and I knew he was going to rally. And now we're going to get a good opportunity this coming turn with our archers probably to kill him. The pocket they want to go in, it's where we're kind of forcing the AI to choose. They see a guy here who has no Indomitable, a guy here who has no shield, and they also don't want to get mixed up with the spear wall. So they're going to try and come into here. This is kind of like the sweet spot of our formation. And because we know that, we can focus fire into it. Alright. They haven't done a single point of damage to us yet, by the way. Worth noting. And we'll shoot into the back, kind of hoping to hit anyone. Like that. If we hit one of the Orc Warriors, that's fine. If we apply a bunch of stacks of Overwhelm, that's cool too. But now we can start getting those surrounds. Let's go for that line shot up here. Wow. Now that's unfortunate. We've missed several opportunities to do big damage. We've got a 95% chance to hit here. We're going to apply 2 stacks of like super bleed from our Cleaver Master. Can't believe we missed there. Are they both using shield wall? They are. Okay, another big hit here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Obviously don't like taking a fight against an Orc Warrior who's got high ground. We could consider dropping a dog. Try and give them different targets, but the only one we're really worried about is this guy. We've got our super deadly bill hook here. See what we can do with it. We can always use rotate too. If he takes one more hard hit, we'll rotate out. We're going to have to make sure we kill him too. So, step number 1. And that seems valuable to me basically just because we'll do this as well. We're able to get the kill, perhaps shake their resolve, and then apply many stacks of Overwhelm here, which potentially will help us keep Ragnar from getting rocked by this warrior. He's got 3 stacks on him. The odds of him getting hit are very low. And that was a huge hit with that great sword. That guy should be absolutely dead now. Shoot him point blank, reload. Good hit. We whiff there, and I'm actually getting a bit concerned. Let's bring in Cata. He's at full HP. He's also got bone plating. There's a 95% chance. Nice. And we're just plain old safe now. Everyone's pretty good. Let's go ahead and switch to this ridiculous axe. I'm always going to call it the ridiculous axe because the stats on that thing are just unreal. It's sad that it's like a secondary weapon for someone. We could potentially use it on like Behemoth. Okay, a bit of breaking. Nice. And that hit, we stack some Overwhelm. Good damage. Want to break him if we can. Can't reload with a big orc standing next to us. Nice, and now he is breaking. We've almost got them all running. Still managed to hit. Wow. That was unlucky. We can rotate with Gimli. Yeah, he gets decapitated. Very cool. We can rotate here. That's a better rotation. Now all they have next to him is a guy who's fleeing. We are bleeding though, that's worth noticing. We'll step up. Take a shot. Can we get down there? We can't. But we're going to put the big damage on the one who could actually hurt us. He's dazed with a broken nose. Still doesn't want to run though. Very good. I wonder if being dazed makes it so that they're like too dumb to know when to run. No, he's wavering now. But this battle just kind of shows the utility of rotation. It's one of the abilities that if I had just a few more perks to use in this game, every brother would have it. Every brother would have Pathfinder, which would negate all terrain basically in the game. And every brother would also have rotation, which I think is just an amazing ability. But it just takes away so much from our defensive and offensively focused strategy. There we go. Trying to step into position to hit him. Down he goes. And because the prices here are awesome, we're going to sell before we leave. But they are no better than the Jarls of Jorvik, not on this day. They still have Marauding Greenskins, which is great for us. They might have that until we turn in the quest. We don't need any strange mushrooms. We won't be partaking of that today. And now we just head back to Wizendorf. Many thousand crowns richer. I think pay comes out at midday. So good that we were able to pick that up. So more greenskins. Wow. Want to kill more greenskins? I certainly do. This is just a fun thing for us to do, guys. We're not really progressing, but I mean, we did a lot of progressing yesterday. I would love to just have some fun right now. I'm thinking, man, we could pull out that dagger on someone and see if we can't resurrect I don't think that's true. It doesn't work on orcs. You can't make zombie orcs, but you can make zombie humans. If we come across some raiders, these guys have a leader. They're going in the kind of the wrong direction over these mountains. I know it looks like a short distance, but maybe we could cut them off at the pass here, and I could show you guys how that new obsidian dagger works. Where are they going? They turned around. God dang it. Well, whatever. Let's get into the Bone Breaker's Cavern. It's probably going to be a bunch of berserkers. So some young, some warriors. Let's check, make sure no one's too badly beat up. Leisure Side can come out. And Rainer can come in. We probably should have had him in already. Ripped Ear is pretty minor. Crushed Windpipe is an awful negative modifier. I think we can take him out. We can go a bit wider in the front line. Something like that. Let's get in there. We'll probably even kill those other orcs if we can. If we're not too beat up. But yeah, as soon as we can, guys, I'm going to show you how cool it is to turn your enemies into zombies. And there's a bit of interesting terrain here we could take advantage of. It's hard to tell if you're not used to looking at like Battle Brothers types of battles. But we've basically got one choke point here and one choke point here. And they're pretty wide to call them choke points. But that's what they are. We've gave them a little concave here that they can jump into. Skeeb doing that damage for us. But it's cool to have your archers. See how archers kind of align with the center of the choke points? There's one here, and the archers are kind of in the middle. That puts them at like a pivot point, so they can either shoot here with clear lines of sight, or they, for the most part, can shoot here. This tree's kind of messing it up. But for the most part, they can shoot in here unobstructed. And because there are so few of them, we don't really need to do anything like use our falcon to see where they are in the forest or anything like that. See how they jump in? We used Indomitable all up and down here. There are a significant number of warriors here. We don't want to completely underestimate them. And we're hoping that they jump into here. Wow, that completely like bypassed his armor. That did a ton. And for the first time in a long time, we may be looking at a nice round swing. Do it again. We almost killed all three of them. That's beautiful. Expected that. Good job. We're going to step in on them. We don't have to use Indomitable if we step in on them. Let's throw our javelins on. Wow. That was deadly. The ultimate insult too, using the shields of one of their fallen war bosses. As he like pins them to the ground. Pretty sick. And we're going to devote most of our resources to this upper fight here. Let's use Adrenaline. I could see putting 4 guys or so on this warrior, but more than that I think is a waste. Everyone needs to come up. Let's go for this line shot, and we nailed him. And I think we cut his artery. Yes. Very good. As long as we don't get stunned here, it's probably fine. Stack of overwhelm. Alright. It didn't do any damage, and bone plating takes the first hit for us. And as usual, that weapon hits both the head and body. And if he had been a little bit lower, we would have gone for a decapitation there. Just wasn't quite low enough. This fight's going well, and we're just getting paid to fight these kind of easy enemies. You can call this a bit of a mulligan reset episode where we're getting our cash back in order. Brothers that were severely injured are getting healed. We also, I mean, it's not a complete mulligan. We did make some cool new items, the necklaces, which are quite powerful. Adding a lot of resolve to Svarog and Isaac. Very good. Let's get the pole hammer out instead of reloading and go for this hit here. Nice. With our funds and supplies in a good place, that hurt. Our options open up. But to progress our story, the one thing we need is unhold hides. More than anything else. Ooh, we're bleeding as well. Okay. Can we not move? Alright, let's hope to get this kill. Let's use adrenaline just so we can jump into position. And give ourselves an even better surround. And we actually do get an attack as well, so that's great. Last thing we want is for this guy to hit Cata super hard. Huge stacks of overwhelm. I think we're at 3. No, just 2. No, we can't do anything there. Full surround didn't break him. There we go. Okay, he's done. We're out of the danger zone. Very good. And Skeeb ended up with 3 kills this battle. Who else did great? Everyone else kind of split. No, Svarog, of course, he did the damage. Damage dealt 856. That's the real stat right there. Who did the most damage? Pretty easy, Svarog. A few of your mercenaries walk through the ruins of the orc camp. They pick about their remains, turning up this or that unusable trinket. Fritz the Phoenix sheaths his bloody sword. Not all here, sir. You nod and get the men ready to return to Baron Bernfried von Adelheim. I've always read that that's like a stupid thing that people always do in movies and books. They sheathe bloody swords. Like, you would never want to stick a bloody weapon inside of a sheath. Like, if you've ever had, like, I'm a homeowner, I'm a slight handyman. Like, I would never put a wet tool away. Like, I would never put it into its case or its box or anything like that. Rust is a thing. And a sheath is probably something that's pretty difficult to clean the inside of. Either made out of leather or metal. And I just can't imagine sticking something as, like, insidiously sticky and wet as blood with the kind of like oxidizing properties that blood has, like, and then sticking your sword, which is also metal, inside of a sheath. Like that's, I've always heard that was something that no one would have ever done in ancient times, essentially, but that they always do it for like dramatic effect in shows and books. It makes you look like a badass for sure. It's like walking away from an explosion, but it's just not something that would ever really happen. I'm actually a little bit mad right now because I was going to put together my new monitor, and I saw that somehow one of my screwdrivers got like rusted, and I don't know how. It's one of those like interchangeable ones. You can kind of flip them around to, you only need one screwdriver, and it's basically like you got four. But somehow one of the bits got stuck in, or it's a little bit rusted. I don't remember using it in like a damp situation. I'll take the blame for it for sure, but like that's super unusual for me. I was kind of shocked when I saw that. I've had that screwdriver for a long time. And that's just pure dad stuff, y'all. When you hear me talking about rusty screwdrivers, Jesus. I always tell my wife that I'm going to show up, you know, at my kids' functions and stuff wearing like sandals with like long white socks just to embarrass them. For those of you who are not in America, there's like a whole series of commercials about becoming your father or becoming your parents. They're super funny. They're like insurance commercials or something. And yeah, I'm trying not to let that happen. Go full dad mode. If we step in here, we can throw once. It's probably worth it. And then we can step back out. We could probably do the same thing here. And if we landed that, we would have gotten a kill. So that was certainly worth. Let's see them come to us. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think about the whole like sheathing a bloody sword thing. I know a lot of you are as interested in historical accuracies or inaccuracies as I am, and I feel like that's kind of a big one. It's like our forefathers weren't stupid, you know, like the men who went to war as a profession. Like those dudes understood rust. And taking care of your equipment, and it'll take care of you. That whole mentality. Got to get rid of these berserkers. Can't have that. See if he jumps in. Yeah, he goes in on John, which makes a lot of sense. John can't protect himself. Wow, we missed the kill. Okay, let's come in here and go for that line shot, and we got it. We cut his artery, which is good. You think Skeeb defenseless? You are wrong. Really sweet weapon. I don't know if we've been using it to its fullest potential, since it does have the ability to cause serious injury. And now I'm trying to think of, like, what are some of the other major inaccuracies, like, portrayed through fantasy and, you know, sometimes historically just inaccurate. I know a big thing is, like, mounted warfare, and, like, the invention of the stirrups. Certain types of, like, mounted archery just wasn't possible until the invention of the stirrups, which I think was a mainly Roman invention. I don't know. Could be wrong about stuff like that. I don't want to get too deep into it without like having something in front of me, like knowing exactly what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of little things like that. Early Chinese armor I've always thought was very interesting as well. It's funny the different philosophies on armor also. When you look at like medieval armor, they went for like the bigger the better, right? The heavier you could get it, The more metal and chainmail and that type of thing you could put, the better. And then you look at something, and of course they lived in an area with like metal-rich environments. But you look at something like almost like Japanese samurai armor, and you've got a lamellar as their primary material with layerings and upon layerings of silk, and uh, the strength comes from having multiple layers and not necessarily from the strength of the material itself. And I've always thought those two different approaches were quite neat. Two different sides of the world. And sometimes it's from necessity, right? Maybe if Europeans had had earlier access to silk, they'd have seen its value as a bit of a like an arrow retardant, or if the Japanese had had access to more steel, they might have thought to turn it into thicker armor instead of using it as almost like a scaled effect. So that was just an easy little fight. Don't mind if I just ramble while we take those types of fights. We can head back to Dornan to sell all the random junk we just picked up. And then head back to Wizendorf. Those bandits are just hanging out here. Looks like they're going to try and attack this caravan. Oh no, Fritz. You find Fritz the Phoenix helping himself to a third helping of food that's far too much, and so you demand that it be his last. Another brother joins in, mocking the man for his habits. The glutton, enraged, slams his food down and stands up. His stomach, however, sways at a different pace than the rest of him, and the rather fattened man goes down in a heap of flailing limbs. While the rest of the company has a laugh, you can't help but wonder if the sellsword really has gotten too fat. So Fritz is now fat. Drop the pork now. I think he was a glutton before, and I think, man, you still have gluttonous. That sucks. So he loses fatigue, which is awful because fatigue was one of the worst things he had. Hit points, I mean, he doesn't need 112 hit points, but he could definitely use 10 more fatigue. Now, we can get rid of fat if we just like run around. I've seen that happen. Brothers that are fat lose it. They get in shape. And we've got some time today. Let's take another fight. Wow, they're orc hunters fighting the bringers of peace. We can fight the brigands in the swamp, but if we're going to fight them in the swamp, I want to have access to more archers. We can bring in like Folkir. Someone got hurt in that last battle, I thought. Let's take out maybe Isaac. Bring in Folkir. Who else? Okay, so the fractured ribs are gone, but we still have a dislocated shoulder, which is -3 action points. That sucks. Something like that. I want to have ranged tools. If we're going to fight brigands in the swamp, they have marksmen. Let's be able to counter skirmish them and force them to come to us. Focus fire their most dangerous dudes. We've got a little bit of high ground here on some brothers, it looks like. Not many, though. Behemoth has high ground if they want to try and come in through that way. We're going to, of course, prioritize any crossbowmen or archers that become vulnerable. Like this guy here. It's pretty low percentage. 59, all things considered. But he's probably one of the most dangerous dudes on the field right now. We'll see the leader shortly. And he's got a warhammer. Nice. Damn, we had an angle on him. Let's come up here and take that high ground. And we're missing a lot. It's not nighttime or anything. Warbrands are scary weapons. Big axes are scary weapons. All that stuff's got to go. Throwing weapons are awesome in the swamp. We'll step up here. Our archers can stay still in the back line. I think we'll move Ragnar up one if he can. But he's still behind shields technically, so he should be fine. Yeah, he can't move. That's okay. And if they're moving forward, they're not attacking. Manages to hit John D. He is in the swamp. This guy is pretty well armed and armored. The Warhammer is a very dangerous weapon. Let's get that kill so we can get the easy resets. And probably get a full-on other kill. I'm not that impressed with a 56. We will wait. Nice. And knocking them back feels good. Because they have to waste so much of their time getting back to where they were. There was a dude there. I was wondering, I was like, why didn't we knock him backwards? We'll go for the 40, and we managed to hit him. 68, we'll take that. Just getting all this, like, what feels like bonus damage on Hans and Skeeb is just always great. Feels like cheating. We could step in. No, we're not going to do that. They're going to come to us. Very good. Jotnar is like holding this little land bridge here. Yeah, we assume that Ragnar would become a target. He's heavily armored, he's got battle forged, and bone plating took the first shot, so we're okay. Convenient angle for them. We'll pass and see if anyone else jumps in on Svarog. He might just be too far out, even though he's one pace away. They're really trying to come in down the center. 2 stacks of overwhelm from the leader. Alright, he wants to run. Let's just get the kill. Come on. It's a 58. 51. Good job. We don't have an angle on anyone. We'll take that there, knock him back into the bushes, force him to step in again if that's what he wants to do. And yeah, good luck. Good luck getting past the Thane himself. Reload. Jesus. Our throwing brothers are killing it. Good damage. So if we step in here, he's running. Let's not let him get away. I don't think they'll want to run yet. I think they'll keep coming forward. Perhaps one more turn. If I kill like this guy and like 2 more next turn, they'll probably start to run. But we want to make sure that the Manhunter comes into melee with us, so we can get him. He has nothing unique about him, and he is a pretty dangerous dude to go after. Okay. Just trying to be a little sneaky with it. If we can hit him once, it's a kill, and that's a reset. That's solid ground at least. We need to get in there with backup. Okay, he rallied in time to run. That guy's going to lose his head. Can anyone move at all? Probably not. Volkir might have been able to step up once. These are the fights where Pathfinder comes in handy. I'm already kind of dreading the Kraken, and this is why I was a little worried about stepping in 1v1 against this dude. That's a real weapon he's using. Okay. Use Indomitable to make sure we don't lose our entire HP pool to one horrible hit. We need to get a better surround though. Nice, good throwing. But they'll all probably escape. The question is not whether or not we can kill this guy. Of course we can kill him. It's, can we do it before he potentially kills Behemoth? And in these types of fights that we're just taking for fun, the last thing I want is to lose a brother because I'm having fun. You know what I mean? Alright, and they're as good as gone. We can't catch them. So hope he doesn't hit us again. That's the best case scenario, is that he goes for different targets. We've got him exhausted, which is great. But he's hiding behind that shield. If we could get a better surround, perfect. He's breaking. A better surround just means we have better chances to hit. Even though he's shield walling, next turn we have a 4-man surround. I don't know if they have underdog. That's something worth looking up and understanding about them. They may have it. Perfect. Now we've got to get rid of 9 lives. There it goes. And the next hit will kill him. And then they're going to say they're running, and then we're just going to let them go. And that'll be the end of today's episode. We get the hammer. That's a pretty valuable piece for us. Hopefully they don't make us chase them. Just pass with everyone in the round. I can crack my knuckles. It's over. It's over, man. We get his kettle hat with closed mail as well. That's just a valuable piece. Arming sword, warhammer, warbrand. We'll repair all of that before we get back to Dornan. Let's organize everything real quick. And the flail is worth repairing. The warbrand is worth repairing. The woodcutter's axe, not so much. Still okay. Might as well, we'll fix up the worn mail shirt. I don't think that's worth it, but we've been getting great prices on the tools. Okay. Let's just travel back. Past. Oh, they killed those guys. Oh no. They killed a fellow mercenary band. Looks like that big company might go and clean them up though. Wolves of Bleak Forest. They have ambush trade routes. It looks like the prices here are going to still be ridiculous. Bear Hat says 23. Yes, sir. Let's sell everything. If it's not bolted down, it gets sold. That might be the best sell prices I've seen this campaign, or if not, it's very, very close. Don't need those javelins. That stuff. Furs. Terrible meat. Get some grain, get us up to 7 days, that's it. Get some venison, still 7. Some beer, that's 8. Okay, that's good enough. And we'll head back to Wissendorf. So we kind of just didn't accomplish much today other than chilling, making money. We're up to 30k now. That's getting us closer to our current ambition. We made a couple necklaces. We leveled, I don't think at all. No, we got our first level 18 guy. Pretty fitting that it's our Thane. And I think I'm just going to take 1 fatigue and just start pumping his defenses. And there we go. Dornan no longer has marauding greenskins. And we are clear. Ooh, okay. I'll read this, guys. I think we might do this. We haven't faced many Alps in this playthrough, and I'd like to do that. And I think that's what this is for. So, Friedrich of Wissendorf has his head in his hands. Sorry for the bad reading. And it turns side to side. You ask if you should come back another time. He slams his fist into the table. No, this is the perfect time. The townsfolk have been complaining of strange dreams for days now, and last night a nightmare visited upon me. I can't even make sense of it. I was standing in a field of wheat, and I saw shadows passing through the stalks, but they weren't just shadows. They were flattening the wheat as they went, and well, when I woke I saw the legs of something just as they ran out of my door. I mean, we want you to stay the night and see if anything comes for you too. Are you interested? We could look into this for the right price. This is like the entire plot of that, is it 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas? Where he's like, is that dude supposed to be Beowulf? I think he kind of is. Fighting like the Grendel. I think it's the story of Beowulf essentially, but modified. And they sleep in the hall and the shadow men come. And yeah. That's a pretty sweet action movie if you've never seen it. It's not a good movie, but it's a sweet action movie. So we could look into this for the right price. If you like Battle Brothers, you'd like that. So not a lot of gold. In the Nightmare. Yeah, this is probably not worth it. But we haven't fought Alps for a long time, and I'm kind of interested to see. I know a bit more about the new way that they fight as opposed to the way they fought before the changes. Now I know kind of the strat. So I'm interested in employing it and seeing how well we can do. Let's accept this contract. We'll fight them. But that's going to be it for today's episode, guys. We'll start tomorrow with the Alps. And then I think I'll probably just make like a straight line to Grafenheid and get us all the way up to Raderstedt and start looking for Unhold out here in the wilderness, which, I mean, I think at one point in one episode we fought 3 or 4 groups in one episode, and it was in like this general area. So we'll see if we can't get back out here, and if we see any of these, you know, big camps that have armored Unhold in them, we'll take those fights as well. Look forward to that. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Take care, y'all.